when it becomes an option on the buffet of end of life, or, because life is so difficult because of pain, suffering, however that's interpreted. And I know that the bill isn't specific on that. So, arguably there could be somebody who just feels like they're a burden, somebody who doesn't want to use all of their savings or sell their house on home care,
There'll be a background, insistent moral pressure.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about coercion, and that's often talked about as an individual coercing someone or pressurizing them. I think we're talking about almost on a state level, on a system level, feeling you've got no choice.
A background atmosphere that, frankly, you're not of much value to the rest of us. You should do the decent thing and die.
Do the decent thing for your family, for the state, for other people. Why not? And fear, we're afraid. And and why not? We've all, I believe, had experiences of seeing people that we love die unpleasant and difficult deaths. And I think we assume that these bills are going to make that go away. And actually, we know that over half of the people that currently go to Dignitas, they wouldn't qualify under this bill or a bill like this.
The bill is pretty limited, isn't it? It says you've got to be expected to die within 6 months, and you've got to have 2 doctors and a High Court judge signing you off, as it were. So it's hard to see how it's going to spread to too many people out of those categories.
Really? Well, okay. I have 3 reasons why I don't believe that. What I believe is happening, which always happens, is it's about getting the bill over the line. Mm-hmm. Let's get it into Parliament. Let's get it voted on. Let's get a yes. Okay. Even on the 29th.
And then it gets amended, you think?
Then it gets amended. Then it gets discussed. And that's what it'll be. I think Kim Leadbeater will say, you're obligated to vote yes on the 29th so that then we can look at the devil is in the detail. And I say that as an atheist. So I can see that that's going to happen then. And then it gets very, very hard to say no. Once it's in, the principle of allowing state involvement in the deaths of some people has been proved. And once has been not proved, but allowed.
Established.
And voted on. Established, thank you. What happens then is it does give the courts some recourse. And that's what will happen. I bet you that...
So this will spread?
This will absolutely... It will spread as it has in every other country. And it will spread, this is my reason for thinking it will, is that it's an inevitability. You bring in a law that grants rights for some groups of people, it becomes discrimination not to give those rights to others.
And indeed, that is what has happened in Canada, as I understand. It's been discrimination laws which have spread the categories of people under their version of this same law. Let me put to you, however, I remember talking to Sue Leith, who was sitting just where you are, talking about her brother who had bone cancer. And she said to me, the trouble with bone cancer is it doesn't kill you. Not until the cancer spreads from inside the bones to other vital organs and eventually does its fell work. Yeah. Meanwhile, you are in absolute agony. He was screaming day after day for a very, very long period of time in huge agony and was desperate to end it. And there was no way that it could be ended for him. People like that, surely they have a very strong human case too for wanting a different system.
Well, they're often the stories that we hear that make this really difficult and make it seem that somebody that objects
That's why I mentioned it, yes.
But, must have, why would you want that? Do you want suffering? I guess what I'm looking at is, no, I'm not denying that or saying this is easy, but I'm saying that are we in a position to listen to these stories where people are not getting the right support at the end of life, or we don't know what support they would need, versus the protection of those who are not vocal and who may be affected by the bill.
So you would argue that individual tragic cases do not make good general law?
Absolutely.
And you're off, I know, to talk to MPs yourself now. What is your sense of the way things are going? Because I thought this was going to go through, if not easily, at least with a big majority. And I think the opponents, people on your side, seem to be making a bit of progress at the moment.
Well, I think whatever you think, whatever you believe on this subject, and I think there's a lot of, particularly the newer MPs who really don't know what to do. This is a private member's bill. It will be their first private member's bill. So they've got to learn that on top of everything else. And it's one of the most hot issues of our lifetimes in a way. and complicated. I think the fact it's being brought in quite hurriedly, there's 18 days till the bill and we've only just seen it. And like I say, it's a private member's bill. It won't get the time. It gets 5 hours on the 29th. I think there are real fears that this is something. This isn't in the manifesto. This wasn't in the King's speech. This to be one of the most major things and first thing that Labour brings in when they've got a lot of sorting out to do. I don't think people are comfortable with that, whichever side of the fence you sit on with this. It's difficult. I don't want people to suffer. None of us do. I just don't believe that involving doctors in end-of-life decisions so that assisted suicide becomes a medical treatment, I don't believe it's safe.
Liz Carr, thank you very much for coming and explaining that to me.
Thank you.